You've been walking around like life owes you something, waiting for signs, waiting for motivation, waiting for a break that's never coming. Let me tell you something. Life doesn't owe you anything. The world respects one thing: force. Not violence, not rage. Force, inner force. A man who commands himself. This is not advice. This is a reset, a mental reset. The truth? Most people talk like they want to win, but their habits scream fear. They train when it feels right. They quit when it hurts. They hide behind excuses and call it balance. You weren't made for balance. You were made for war, a mental war. And if you don't start acting like it, you'll stay stuck in circles. For the rest of your life, winning starts long before the fight. It starts when you get sick of your own story. When you look in the mirror and say, enough, that version of me, he's done. That's where it begins. You weren't meant to survive. You were meant to command. But command doesn't come easy. It comes through suffering, through repetition, through silence, through early mornings and late nights and no applause. It comes when you fight for it, when you fight for you. Mike Tyson didn't just step into the ring. He stepped into a mindset. Every day, every hour. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for confidence. He trained until confidence had no choice but to show up. He became the storm. Not because he was born for it, but because he decided to be. And now it's your turn. No more soft thoughts. No more weak questions. No more backup plans. You act like you were meant to win, because you were. And the world won't believe it until you prove it. And you won't prove it until you burn the old version and rebuild from nothing. This isn't a pep talk. It's a challenge. I train in silence. I move with purpose. I was built for more, and I refuse to live small. You don't rise in the ring, you rise in the dark. The fight begins long before the lights, long before the crowd, long before the opponent. The fight begins in the mind, and if you don't control it, it will control you. Mike Tyson understood that better than anyone. His body was a weapon, but his mind was the trigger. From the beginning, Customato didn't train Mike to punch. He trained him to believe, to see the fight before it happened, to dominate mentally before the first bell. The enemy wasn't the man in front of him. The enemy was fear. The enemy was hesitation. The enemy was doubt. And Tyson crushed it every single day before the gloves even went on. You can lift all the weights. You can run all the miles. But if you haven't trained your mind, you're just decorating your weakness. A real fighter walks into the unknown without blinking. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't hope to win. He expects to. And that expectation is born from brutal mental repetition, from waking up when the world sleeps, from putting in the work when there's no finish line in sight. Told Mike something every man needs to hear. The hero and the coward feel the same thing. But the hero uses it. The coward lets it use him. That's the difference. That's the gap between ordinary and unstoppable. Fear doesn't leave. You just stop listening to it. Fight mentality isn't hype. It's not adrenaline. It's not rage. It's discipline. It's silence. It's being the same man on Monday morning and Friday night. No change, no dip, no break. Just pressure, focused pressure, controlled intensity. That's where champions live. That's where Tyson lived. Every moment was war. War against distraction. War against comfort. War against the voice in your head that says, take it easy. But Mike never took it easy. He trained like his life depended on it, because it did. And so does yours. Maybe not in the ring, but in your home, your job, your mind. Every day, something tries to take your power. And if you don't fight, you lose it. You have to train yourself to think like a weapon, to move like intention, to walk into every day like it's a round. That can't be wasted, because once it's gone, it's gone. No replay, no rematch. This mentality doesn't come naturally. You have to build it. You have to rehearse pain without panic, pressure without collapse. You have to train your brain to say, I'm not negotiating today. Not with tiredness, not with fear, not with comfort. That voice, silence it. That doubt, kill it. That hesitation, replace it with movement. You don't flinch. You don't wait. You don't ask. Tyson didn't fight men. He hunted hesitation. He hunted fear. He hunted his own limits and broke them. And if you want to rise, if you want to win, if you want to build something no one can take from you, then you need to stop acting like you're trying and start training like you must. Your muscles won't save you when life punches you in the face. Your followers won't carry you when everything falls apart. Your comfort won't protect you from regret. But your mindset? That's your armor. That's your edge. That's what makes you dangerous, even when you're tired, even when you're losing, even when the world thinks you're done. So ask yourself right now, are you acting like someone who was meant to win? Or are you still acting like someone who's hoping it happens? You don't get lucky, you get prepared, you don't react, you respond, you don't wish, you work. I don't flinch, I don't fold, I train my mind before I train my body. There's a version of you that has to die. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. The one that hesitates, the one that hides, the one that talks but never moves. That version lives in all of us, and if you don't kill it, it will bury the one you were meant to become. The war isn't out there. The war is in here, in the silence, in the mirror, in the lies you whisper to yourself when no one's watching. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready yet. Maybe it's not the right time. That voice, it's not your friend. That voice is your executioner. I know what it's like to wake up with demons. I know what it's like to have your own mind try to tear you down. Mike Tyson didn't become a monster in the ring because he was fearless. He became a monster because he confronted fear every single day. He went to war with the weak version of himself, and he buried it. You don't train for the outside world. You train for the war within. Because when your own mind is your enemy, nothing else matters. You can't negotiate with weakness. You can't reason with excuses. You can't be soft with your soft side. You have to confront it, break it, replace it. Some people spend their whole life avoiding that fight, and they die with their dreams still sealed inside them. But not you, not anymore. If you've come this far, it means something inside you is ready. Ready to step into the fire. Ready to face yourself. Ready to destroy whatever's been holding you back. Do you know what makes a man powerful? It's not muscle. It's not fame. It's not money. It's control. Control over his thoughts. Control over his reactions. Control over his urges. Control over the chaos that lives inside him. Tyson had that control, but he had to build it. Brick by brick, pain by pain. He wasn't born with peace. He forged it in fire. Look, you've got two voices inside you. One says quit. One says rise. One wants comfort. One wants greatness. One sees problems. One sees war. You choose which. One wins every single day. You don't get to become the man you respect without killing the man you've tolerated. You don't become strong by staying comfortable. You become strong by doing the thing that scares you, by becoming your own threat. This isn't about being tough on the outside. This is about becoming a fortress on the inside. When the world doubts you, when life collapses, when fear shows up at your doorstep, who answers the door? The coward or the commander? Because there's a beast in you, and there's a boy in you, and one of them runs your life. The beast doesn't make excuses. The beast doesn't ask for breaks. The beast doesn't get shaken by opinion or praise. The beast works. The beast watches. The beast builds, quietly, ruthlessly, with purpose. Tyson trained that beast daily. He locked the door and looked fear in the face. He didn't try to silence it. He used it. He didn't run. He redirected. And you can too. But not if you keep living like the boy who hopes the world will change. It won't. But you can. If you want power, you have to take it. If you want discipline, you have to forge it. If you
want peace, you have to earn it. And it all starts by declaring war, not on the world, but on your own weakness. This isn't poetry. This isn't motivation. This is war. I confront my fear. I bury my weakness. I am not ruled by my doubt.
I rule over it. You want to rise? Then disappear. Not from life, from noise, from approval, from distraction, from the eyes that keep you soft. Growth doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in silence. When you isolate yourself from everything that weakens your edge. That's where the real work begins. That's where Mike Tyson built his power. Isolation isn't loneliness. It's focus. It's choosing to stand alone so your mind gets stronger than your surroundings. When Mike trained for a fight, the world vanished. No parties, no press, no phone calls. Just repetition, just sweat, just war and silence. While others chased attention, he chased mastery. While others wanted to be seen, he wanted to be ready. The beast doesn't beg for company. The beast creates distance so it can sharpen its instincts. You don't build mental armor in the middle of comfort. You build it in the cold, in the dark, in the hours that nobody tracks. You build it when you keep showing up with no applause, no reward, no one watching, just you and the mission. You want mental power? You earn it in silence. You want strength? You earn it in repetition. You want clarity? You earn it in stillness. Tyson didn't become Tyson because he had a crowd. He became Tyson because he had a code. And that code was built in solitude. Your environment reflects your standards. If your life is filled with noise, chances are your mind is too. You don't rise by adding more. You rise by removing. Remove the comfort. Remove the distractions. Remove the voices that doubt you. Create space for dominance. Create space for discipline. Do you know what happens when you isolate with purpose? You meet the truth. No filters, no buffers. Just you, your habits, your thoughts. And at first it hurts. It's loud. It's uncomfortable. But then, it sharpens. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop talking. You start doing. You stop needing. You start becoming. The strongest version of you is quiet. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't need to be understood. He doesn't broadcast his grind. He lets his results speak. You know why? Because noise is cheap. Silence is power. Anyone can post. Few can disappear and return transformed. Mike wasn't training for followers. He was training for war. For that moment when the bell rings and all the preparation has to speak for itself. If you haven't isolated, if you haven't suffered in silence, you won't have anything to say when it counts. You need to become dangerous in solitude, because if you're strong alone, no one can break you. If you've faced yourself in silence, the world has nothing left to use against you. That's the power of isolation. It exposes your weaknesses, but it also builds the tools to destroy them. You weren't made to be seen. You were made to be ready. You don't rise by being loud. You rise by being consistent. You rise by locking in, by walking past pleasure, by becoming so used to discipline that chaos feels unfamiliar. So here's the truth. If you need noise, you're not ready. If you need eyes on you, you're not focused. If you need company, you're not committed. But if you can train alone, stay sharp alone, believe alone, then you're already halfway there. Because silence is the test, and isolation is the answer. Tyson's greatest weapon wasn't speed, it wasn't power, it was focus. And focus is born in silence. I train in the dark, I rise in the silence. I don't need the world, I just need the mission. You fell. Good. That's where it begins. That's where it has to begin. You lost, you failed, you broke. Good. Because now you've seen the floor. Now you know the bottom. And now you know it didn't kill you. That's power. That's fuel. That's the fire every champion walks through. You don't learn to fight by winning. You learn to fight when you've got nothing left. When your name is in the dirt. When your pride is shattered. When everyone turns silent. That's when you meet the real version of yourself. Not the one who talks, the one who decides. Mike Tyson didn't stay on top forever. Nobody does. He went down, he lost, he got hurt. But what makes him different, what makes any warrior different, is what he did with that pain. He used it. He didn't run from it. He didn't blame. He didn't cry for pity. He stared at the wreckage and said, "This is where I rise." You want redemption? Earn it. Not with words, with work. You want revenge? Take it, but not on people, on your weakness, on your comfort, on the version of you that let it all slip. Your comeback isn't for the crowd, it's for you, for the man inside who still remembers what he's capable of. Pain doesn't break you. It builds the parts that were missing. Discipline, focus, hunger. When everything's taken away and you still move, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when you earn your identity back. Not by talking about it, not by posting about it, but by walking through fire and smiling in the smoke. There's a code to comebacks, and it's not glamorous, it's brutal, it's quiet. It's built on early mornings where your body says no, but your mind says go. It's built on saying no to pleasure, no to distractions, no to the people who only loved your highlight reel. It's built on repetition, on showing up when nothing makes sense and still doing the reps. This world doesn't hand out second chances. It hands out pain. And that pain can bury you or shape you. You choose. You always choose. Tyson chose. Not just once, every day, after every loss, after every betrayal, after every mistake. He got up. He trained. He returned. Quiet. Relentless. Ready, and now it's your turn. This fall, it's not the end. It's the door. The question is, are you going to crawl back to comfort or stand up with something to prove? Are you going to waste the lesson or burn it into your soul? Let the pain teach you. Let the failure fuel you. Let the silence rebuild you. You don't rise clean. You rise covered in scars. But those scars, they're your armor now. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be dangerous. You were meant to fall and come back harder, stronger, sharper, focused. Not loud, focused. Not angry, cold. Not hoping, knowing. The man who never failed, never learned. The man who never lost, never adapted. The man who never broke, never discovered what he was truly made of. So stand up, not for them, for you. Stand up and lock in. Stand up and rewrite it. Stand up and take everything back, not with rage, but with routine. Not with noise, but with presence. You're not done. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just rebuilding, and this time, you're building it right. I rise from pain. I walk through fire. My scars are proof. I'm not finished. I'm just starting. Discipline isn't a feeling. It's a ritual, a decision repeated so many times it becomes identity. That's how the beast is built, not in chaos, but in structure. You don't wait for motivation. You design your day. Every movement matters. Every moment counts. Every action builds or breaks you. Tyson didn't wake up when he felt like it. He woke up when it was time. 4 a.m., road work, shadows, breath and pavement. That wasn't hype. That was devotion. Devotion to the mission. Devotion to the future. Devotion to becoming something no man could break. You don't do that with energy. You do that with order. What you do daily becomes what you are permanently. You skip one workout, it becomes 2. You hit snooze, that becomes your new reflex. You say, just this once, that becomes your identity. The beast doesn't live on emotion, it lives on execution. Your rituals are your roots. When life shakes you, you don't rise by thinking harder. You rise by returning to the structure, the schedule, the plan. That's your spine. That's your shelter. You need to build a routine so sharp, so sacred, that even on your worst day, you move like you're ready. Every day begins with silence. Before the world speaks, you speak to yourself. You remind your mind who's in charge. You set your tone. You move your body. You say the words. I train. I don't beg. I move with purpose. Every affirmation is a blade. Every repetition is a command. Every choice is a vote for the man you want to be. You want power. Build it. In silence. You want clarity. Earn it. Through sweat. You want focus? Carve it. With repetition. Tyson didn't train for fun. He trained because he knew what was coming. Pain, doubt, pressure. That's why the work had to be harder than the war. No distractions, no scrolling, no passive time. The beast is always active. If not in motion, then in reflection. Planning, learning, visualizing. Not for perfection, for control. You control your space, your time, your energy. You guard your inputs. No junk for the mind, no poison for the soul. Gratitude isn't weakness, it's fuel. Every breath is a weapon if you remember how far you've come. Every morning is a chance to reset, to dominate the first hour, to sharpen your focus before the world tries to take it from you. Tyson understood this. The ritual is the reward. Because every time you train in silence, you're voting against the past. You're burning the weakness. You're becoming who you're meant to be. The world trains loud. The greats train alone. The world wants motivation. The greats want mastery. That's the code. That's the cost. Nobody hands it to you. Nobody wakes you up. Nobody holds your hand. It's your face in the mirror. Your alarm, your food, your mind, your hands, your silence, and that's enough. Repeat what works. Eliminate what doesn't. Track what matters. Ignore what doesn't. Move early. Move often. Think clearly. Decide fast. Recover hard. Build momentum. Protect your peace. Respect your time. Return to the process over and over until there's no gap between who you say you are and how you live. Don't pray for success. Live like it's already yours. Don't wish for strength. Build the routine that produces it. You don't become the beast by screaming. You become the beast by behaving like one. All day, every day. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being locked in. It's about keeping the promise to yourself when no one's looking. That's discipline. That's integrity. That's power. You train when it's dark. You train when it's cold. You train when it hurts. You train because that's who you are now. Not because you have to, because you don't know any other way. I move by discipline. I train like it's sacred. My routine is my religion. My results are my testimony. This is who you are now, not a man who waits, not a man who talks, a man who moves, a man who trains, a man who commands himself. You don't need hype. You don't need noise. You don't need applause. You walk into the room, and the room shifts. Not because you're loud, because your presence is earned. You've built it. You used to doubt. Now you decide. You used to chase. Now you attract. You used to ask. Now you act. You've trained through pain. You've endured in silence. You've risen from nothing, and nothing owns you anymore. You don't fold. You don't beg. You don't wait for the world to notice. You walk forward like it already belongs to you. Tyson didn't walk into the ring hoping. He walked in knowing. And that's what you've become. A man who knows. Not guesses, not wonders, knows. Because he's trained like it, suffered like it, repeated like it, earned it. You don't flinch when it's hard. You expect it to be hard. And still, you move. That's power. You're not here to survive. You're here to lead, to dominate, to elevate. Every breath is fuel. Every step is forward. You don't look back. There's no version of you behind that deserves attention. Only the one you're becoming. The one that wakes up without debate. The one that speaks without fear. The one that trains like destiny depends on it. Because it does. You are no longer part of the crowd. You are not one of them. You're not seeking. You're standing. You're not doubting. You're doing. The old you is gone. The soft voice, the excuses, the waiting, all gone. What remains is presence, precision, power, quiet, focused, unshakable. You walk like the fight is already won. Because the real fight was inside, and you already buried the version of you that would have lost it. Now the world has to catch up. You don't break anymore. You bend reality. You don't fear the moment fears you. Because the man you are now doesn't blink, doesn't beg, doesn't break. This is the new you. No doubt, no noise, just proof. I walk like I've already won. I train like the future is mine. So what now? Are you going to scroll back to your old self? Or step into the ring as the man you were meant to be?